things I love watching more than a good mystery unboxing. So I went on Etsy. I actually looked a lot of places. There's like liquidation.com and all these places that I see like Naomi John using, or Hopescope, or Carrie Dayton, or anybody, you know, looking for usually like fashion finds, but I eventually landed on the place where I tend to find my favorite things, which is Etsy. And as far as I can tell, like, this is a human being who has, for whatever reason, a large stock of miscellany in terms of makeup, and she will kind of curate it for you with the idea in mind, not just to offload a bunch of riffraff, but to get you acquainted with stuff that you might not necessarily have tried on your own. So I ordered, I want to say either the biggest box or the second biggest box. It was $68. I will link her store below, because you're able, when you order, to say your skin tone and like ask for certain shades if you want to do like pinks and neutrals, or if you want to go kind of wild, or you want to mix of both, and if you want her to leave out certain things. So I specified that like I'm not interested in liquid eyeliner, and I didn't want to give too much direction because I did want to be surprised, but I just know from just a wasteful standpoint, a liquid eyeliner is just gonna sit around. It's not like a really great eyeliner is gonna blow my mind and become my next favorite thing. I just don't like the way that they look on me. So I have the box. The box, she arrived, I think yesterday, and I have loosened the tape here, but I have not opened it yet. So let's make sure we're recording. Audio, check, check. Let's do this. What's in the box? What's in the box? Let's see. Alrighty, so it says thank you, and it's got glittery paper here. Y'all, I'm so excited. We've got some skincare. Blueberry sheet mask. Won't be using this today because I'm hoping to be able to get like a face of makeup out of this. And hopefully like a vibe also, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness gracious. We've got a little makeup satchel. Again, wasn't expecting like all the odds and ends here. I'm hoping for like actual makeup. It does appear that there's makeup in here. These really heavy brushes, like they're so, it feels like they're made out of metal. I literally think the handles are metal. They're so heavy. Maybe we'll try and use as many of these as we can today. There's no branding on them. All right, we have a Yes to Coconut Hydrate and Restore Ultra Hydrating Paper Mask. Things I would never buy for myself, sheet masks, but they will get used. Ooh, okay, this is cute. This is, again, no real branding, but it has 4 cute little makeup sponges in it. All of these very pleasing different shades of like green and gray. Ofa Beauty, not to be confused with Ofra Beauty. We have an eyelash curler. Okay. We have this little thing. I'm pretty sure that this is like to hold your sponge. If only she had known that this is not going to survive in a room like mine. There is no unused surface in this room for something to just sit on. Things must roll and stack. Okay, can we get some like makeup? All right, the brand is She Bronzer Palette. Is this like Miss A, Shop Miss A or something? Like this looks like something that would come from like dollar makeup online, but we will see. They call this a bronzer palette, which I think is interesting because that's not what you would think of, at least, you know, going to Ulta or something or the drugstore and see like a bronzer, like these are all very blushy. We have some earrings. Maybe that'll be part of the vibe today. I think that these are likely to turn my ears green and give me a reaction, so we'll see, but I might integrate them into the final look. All right, we have, these are all brands I've never heard of. Amuse Cosmetics Sweetheart Baked Eyeshadow Palette. Oh my word. These are all super shimmery. Cargo Blu-ray High Definition Makeup Concealer. Let's see about this shade. Do you turn it? Do you click it? What do you do? Whoa! There we go. I think I can make that shade work. That smells like kid makeup. A brand called YIKES Tattoo Brow Tint Pin. When it says tattoo, that scares me. Little forked end on here. Super clingy, all eyeshadow primer, HD Pro. Like this looks, it's just by a brand called HD Pro. Okay, I just thought I'd seen it before. I was just making sure I'm not using like something terrifying from like Canal Street, you know? Where it's like that fake Kylie lip kit kind of thing that's gonna like glue my lips shut. I just wanna make sure that that's not happening here because that would really change the nature of the video from like a fun try on to an expose, right? Ooh, okay. This is more Amuse Cosmetics Madly Matte Liquid Lipstick. I don't know about that, and I didn't say no liquid lipsticks, but maybe I should have. We have Beyond 24 Eyeshadow Palette. Wow. What is that? It looks like a voodoo doll with dreadlocks. Am I supposed to understand the reference there? But, uh-oh, it's opened? Ugh, nobody likes to see that. Like the seal is broken. Is this like rejected makeup? I'm not sure I want to use something that's been opened. Like if these are all just like returns, ew. Okay, I can tell by looking at this that none of these has been touched. You can still see every single like pressed texture on these pans, and none of the shadow is like disturbed, and the utensil has not been used. So I feel okay about that. And those are actually really pretty colors. We have Maybelline Intense XXL Volume and Length Microfiber Mascara. It's one of those double-ended ones. Grande Fanatic Fanning and Curling Mascara. This is like a sample size. Max Factor. Does Max Factor still exist? I don't know if they do. This is the high definition kohl eyeliner crayon in Amethyst. Max Makeup Cherimoya lip gloss. This looks old as the hills, but it's still got its seal. We have Clean Color Banana Loose Powder, brightening setting powder. Oh, a NYX powder blush. I've had one of these before and they're fine. We have Clean Color Baked Highlighter. That looks cute, almost like a bronzer though. We have a very small Jordana Cosmetics little like eyeliner pencil in silver. Millennium. I believe that is it. There's no foundation, which is kind of strange, but that's okay because that means I can choose my own, which is probably a good thing considering the situation I have going on my skin right now. So yeah. Okay, so I dampened my new sponge, and they are all actually different shapes, which is cool, but look how much it grew when it's enormous. It's like the biggest sponge ever. And I'm gonna just start with my Rare Beauty skin tint because like I said, they didn't give me one and that's fine. Honestly, that's probably going to set me up a little bit more for success just because, well, if they had sent me a foundation and it was the wrong shade, we might have been in trouble. You know, it's kind of kicking you off on the wrong foot. So we'll see how the concealer works. Nice sponge. That reminds me a lot of the Real Techniques sponges. Like that's exactly what it feels like. It's kind of firm. I also haven't used a sponge in a while. It feels kind of nice. I always like, I don't know. I always think that they're gonna be really grimy, but you know, a brush is probably also grimy. And so I don't really use them that much, but man, there's nothing like a fresh sponge. I also have my Tiger Grass stuff on from Dr. Jart, the Cicapair, because it's got that green tint to it. Just kind of trying to eliminate a little bit of my redness so that I don't have to go in with as much coverage. But I also don't want to cheat, you know? I want to try and get something that's actually making these the star that's just like chopped, you know? That's what this is like. It's like chopped, but with makeup. And if you go and cover it up with a bunch of stuff that you already know you like, well, did you really complete the brief? I don't know. I don't know. Here we go. Starting first with the Cargo Blu-ray High Definition Concealer in the shade Light Medium, 01 Light Medium. I'm going to total up all the prices also so that we can see if this is worth $68 or more or less. It really smells like old school makeup, not in a bad way. It doesn't smell like, you know, expired or anything. It just smells really nostalgic for some reason. Like, really nostalgic. I can't put my finger on it. I have been back on some active, so my skin is just, it's peeling even more than usual. It's a nice shade. I think it's gonna work just fine. Not a ton of coverage, but I'm adaptable, you know? I'm guessing, you know, now that I've seen what's in the box, that the person probably has a lot of sources, you know? Where they're getting things in bulk, you know, opened products that are still hygienic and things like that, but the box is not necessarily from just one place. Not bad. Not bad. Not groundbreaking, but sometimes you don't want things to be groundbreaking, you know? So there's no like contour or anything, but I will kind of like use what I have and then fill in with what's not provided. I want to give the benefit of the doubt to the products here. So we're gonna go in with this Clean Color Banana Loose Powder. I do think that banana is gonna be a stretch, but we're gonna try it. I mean, to be fair, I have been using more powder that's like a little bit darker because I feel like it actually does a better job of like camouflaging discoloration and stuff. Yikes, yeah, I don't know if I can use this. It's so, the whole thing just came out. Okay, I was trying to peel the little hygienic sticker off of there, which, you know, I'm glad it's there, but the whole cap came out. Oh, she's yaller. We're in this, guys, we're in this, we're doing it. No, no scent. You know what? Not the worst. I think banana is scary if you're baking, but not the worst. Okay. I was terrified. I was genuinely terrified, and that's actually completely fine. It's actually got a really nice kind of micro finish to it. Like, underneath my eyes looks really good. And it is kind of brightening in the sense that it has a little bit of blurring and luminosity to it. You can see how it kind of catches the light a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. And that was the Shane Shane. Who's Shane? That was the brand Clean Color. I guess I'm gonna go into this bronzer palette, and this is technically hygienically sealed, but I do have a feeling that like it's been opened and closed again. But again, we don't have any disturbance to the press itself at all. Like this hasn't even been swatched. So I shall swatch. Ooh, a very strange thing to call this a bronzer palette, because I don't know if this is just me, but like those are blushes and I'm not mad about it, you know? But actually I think I'm gonna start instead with the Clean Color Baked Highlighter, because this is much more of like a bronzer for me, and then we will go in with the blushes after the fact. I was like looking at their prices and everything, and I was like, $68? Like that's way less than I usually spend. If you total up the makeup that I'm like trying usually for the first time in a video, it's usually much more than that. So, all right, this is a highlighter for sure, but it's still like a little bit dark for my skin. So I'm gonna tippy tap that. It's a really pretty color though. So I think it's gonna give me a nice amount of like cool tone on my cheeks, hopefully without getting too shimmery. It's a little shimmery. I mean, it's a highlighter, to be fair, but I'm trying to kind of make the best of it. Baked things, man, you really gotta bust through the surface of them sometimes, but it's a nice wash. I think that's one kind of perk of drugstore makeup, which this almost all is just that most of the time it's a little bit low pigment, and so it's not gonna like get you in trouble too much. All right, that's actually a pretty nice level of sheen. It's not necessarily something that I would have been like, you know, would have been my first choice, but I like the finish on the skin and it's not super glittery. I'm going to now go in with this one, and I do have like, I have a smaller brush I'm gonna use here. I think I'm gonna start with this mauvey one because, well, it's me. It's me. It's kind of cool though, like if you think about, I don't know, like wanting to get into makeup and not really knowing where to start, you could give this shop owner a lot more detail, you know, like, hey, I'm a beginner, whatever, and maybe they would be able to actually curate something for you that's really affordable, and you wouldn't feel really bad if like not everything worked out, but you would have a lot to kind of play with and get your bearings without feeling like you need to go into Sephora and spend like $1,000 for a bunch of stuff that probably has about the same, you know, margin of error, if you will, if you kind of don't know what you like yet. So that was that mauve color. And I feel like we need some brightness, so I'm going to try the kind of like relatively warm apricot-y shade here. Oop, she is pigmented, okay. Gonna do that kind of at the top here. Give that a little bit of like a pop. Yeah, maybe not the greatest formula in the world, it's kind of picking up, but I do have that NYX one. And I can always go back in with the banana powder and fix anything else. Technically there isn't a bronzer in here though, so I am going to go in with a bronzer at some point. Maybe that point is now. So I'm going to use my Makeup by Mario bronzer. I feel like that's not, you know what I mean? That's not a bad thing to use something if there's not, I mean, if it's not provided in here. So I want to make this look good. I'm not trying to like be like, oh my gosh, what a fail, you know? Like, I think that this could be a practical thing for someone. And I don't want to go nuts, but just a little bit, you know? Oh, and then I do actually want to take some of that highlighter and use it as a highlighter. I'm gonna use it on a stiffer brush to do that with. So I'm gonna take this on a BK112 and just give myself a little cute highlighter moment. What do we think, y'all, so far? What do we think? Drugstore makeup is quick. That's also something about it. All right, I think next things next, we're gonna do eyes. So I have this HD Pro Super Clingy right here, this eyeshadow primer. So far, nothing is acting like it's expired. You know what I mean? It all seems like it's new from the drugstore. Not a weird smell or anything, just kind of smells like lotion. Ooh, it is sticky. That's got some major tackiness to it. Holy crap. Feels like Elmer's glue. You could get your eyebrows down with that. Oh my goodness. Ooh, ooh. I've never felt anything that had that much like audacity to be tacky. Holy crap. I like wonder if that's gonna cross over to the other side. You know what I mean? Like go from being tacky to like making it harder to put this on. Okay, so I feel like the best way to go about this is to start with this Beyond 24 eyeshadow palette and then maybe go in with the shimmery one if there's like room to, but this is the one definitely where I'm gonna get most of my eye look from. And we're gonna try and use these brushes. It's like kind of working with one hand tied behind my back to some degree because my brushes are honestly like half of why I look like I know what I'm doing is because I use good brushes. There's not like a blender brush in here. There's nothing fluffy. That's gonna be a problem. I don't think I can use these brushes. Like it's gonna make everything look bad. Like this is the biggest one. It's completely synthetic and it's just really stiff. Like I don't think that there's any way to use that without kind of turning this into like a goofing on the whole thing video, which is like not what I'm trying to do. So I am gonna use my BK brushes just to kind of like give this palette a fair shake. All right, I have the A503 here. She's massive and I'm going to use something to just kind of base my eye because I think that it's going to be very, very tacky. I love these colors. Look at them. They're all kind of like, I did say that I like cool leaning kind of neutrals that go maybe even a little towards lavender and gray. And I feel like she heard me. Like she gets it. That's awesome. So yeah, let's try this one. Let's try this little gray one here. It's not gray, it's like taupe. Yeah. Yeah, it's sticking because of that outrageously sticky primer. So I'm going to base everything first and then we'll go in with like, you know, creativity. That was easy. I mean, all I did was, it's not even like super symmetrical, but it's okay. All I did was just go in with that first shade, give myself a nice shadowy base in my crease and, you know, up, and then use kind of a creamy shade over here to base the rest of it. So far they behave kind of like a, you know, like a Makeup Revolution or something, just slightly better than you would expect from, I don't know, Morphe or something. We will see if these behave kind of like Morphe shadows. So that's the thing with Morphe shadows to me is that like the shimmers look really beautiful in the pan and then they swatch like garbage. So if I were to like really pick a shade that just like sends me into orbit here, I think it would kind of be this like grungy one down here. It feels good. I'm gonna really dig my finger in there. That is not bad at all. That's giving metallic. All right, I'm gonna do just that because I wanna do some more like outer corner, like with a similar texture, but a deeper shade. And these are so slick, I do fear that if I try to layer them, they'll just kind of shed product, you know? Which is not a mark of low quality, it's just the nature of some shadows. Like Victoria Beckham shadows are like that, and like some of the M Cosmetics ones are like that, where they're so slick. When they go on, they have that like really beautiful, satisfying foiled sheen to them, but they won't like, you can't layer on top of them. I also appreciate how this palette is laid out. Like it's not perfectly laid out in like quote unquote like spectrum order, but it's close. That's something that I got a lot of requests as soon as the new Ismea collection came out. It's like this rodeo collection. It's called Wild Star. And everybody was asking if I was gonna review it. And I was talking to my friend Simbri about it. And I was like, look, I'm deeply troubled. I don't understand like what part of my brain it really bothers, but like, I'm deeply troubled by the idea of a circular palette where the colors aren't in order. And I'm not usually like that, but it just absolutely scrambles my brain looking at that thing, and I don't like it. And I don't like the colors, and so I don't think that I'm going to review it. It's like really expensive, and I just don't think I'd have anything particularly good to say about it. I'm going in with this one, which, you know, in context just looks brown, but look at it in a swatch. It's like kind of got some purple in it. I like it. Oh yeah. I've never heard of like 90% of this makeup. But yeah, it is pretty slick. Let me see if I can layer this kind of cool taupe. It's almost like a pearl. Yeah, like that. It looks taupe on my finger, but it's actually light enough on my skin. It's this one right here that it goes highlighty. It's nice. Cool. All right, let's take one of the little sponge tip guys that they gave me and try and use it underneath my eyes and maybe even get it to lay some product down. Like, you know what I mean? Pat some on top. I'm gonna take that same one that I really like here. This mauve color. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Justice for the sponge tip. Justice for the sponge tip. Especially because I'm the one who is always like, dampen a eyeliner smudger and use that to place color. It's like, what really is it but a sponge tip? I think what I don't like about a sponge tip is just that it's not washable, you know? It's like, it's disposable. Oh, it's double-ended. I didn't realize that. This one's double-ended. All right, I'm actually going to take that and like try and place some color in my crease. I think I'm gonna use this deep one. This is like the darkest one in the palette, but it's also really nice and cool. It's a little bit more like red purple on my skin than I was expecting. Pretty though. I'm gonna take something fluffy from my own collection here and just work that in a little. So there's only two finishes in here. It's just matte and these kind of foily shimmers. So I'm gonna take the first one that I grabbed on my finger. I'm gonna go right here with it and just really blow out that lower lash line. Picks up really well on a brush. Surprisingly well for being as slick as it is. Continue to kind of bring this out, buff that out. You get a really smooth blend from these. You know, I was mentioning that they're a little bit like the Victoria Beckham lid lusters, which I know is a strange comparison for something that I got, you know, in a grab bag essentially, but it has some kind of common ingredient that does that slight warmth on my skin, the same thing that the Victoria Beckham ones do, that goes away really quickly, but like I notice it, you know, my eyes just go, ooh, what's that? And by the time I've noticed it, it's gone. But at the same time, it's like, there must be some common ingredient that does that. Honestly, I had no idea what to expect with this video. I didn't know whether it was gonna be one of those ones where, like I watch Carrie Dayton's, you know, vintage mystery box unboxings, and almost all the time she's having kind of a crisis. You know, she's having a crisis all the way through it, being like, I wanna be excited about this, but my dreams are dashed every time. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And then something good will come up and she'll go, oh my gosh, I remember why I do this now. And like, you know what I mean? It's just this roller coaster of emotions. I didn't know what this was going to be like, and I am so pleased. I'm just like so much more pleased than I expected to be. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that I was able to tell someone like what shades I like to wear, you know? I think that that's the main thing here, is that she was able to like listen to me and gear like something as big as an eyeshadow palette towards my taste. So there are a couple of more interesting shades in here, but we've done what we came to do in this situation. And I think that I need to open up this palette here, the Sweetheart palette, and just see if there's anything I can get out of here. I'm gonna swatch these. These are wild. Ooh, oh my God, wait. inner corner moment. I think I'm gonna be able to get something kind of phenomenal out of one of these like blues. Okay, I didn't want to go nuts here because they're baked. So it's like, you know, I'd really have to like shove my finger in there to get something super, super bold. But I think that that like blue right there is the ticket. I think I'm gonna take that on something wet and just try and make myself a little inner corner moment. So I'm actually gonna use a little brush that they gave me. And I'm gonna spritz it with some Fix Plus Magic Radiance. I'm gonna dip it in that blue and see what we can do here. Baked shadows do tend to work really well wet, so. Cool. And they also have kind of a, you know, pinky highlighty shade here that I'm just gonna use to bridge the gap there so it's not so stark. I'm not mad at that at all. I think that that looks neat. All right, next we have, ooh, actually, since they gave me like an amethyst eyeliner, maybe that's what we go in with next here. And then there's also a silver one. So this might just get very, very galactic very quickly. This is Max Factor. I mean, yes, it's still sealed, but like it looks old as the hills. Absolutely old as the hills, so. We shall see here. Yeah, that's dried up. Like I can use it, but I'm afraid to. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of, it's just everything about it is yellowed. Like I don't want to put that on my eye. We're gonna move right along here. I'm gonna use my own eyeliner, I think, for this, just for the sake of like my eye safety. You just never know. So we have the YIKES. Oh, cool. That's actually a great color. That's the, oops, that's the little eyebrow fork. They did give me a spoolie. Gotta love a fresh spoolie. And we're going to try and draw some eyebrows here. Can I help you, Copper? I kind of love that you can like feel this combing through your eyebrows while you're doing it. I know that it's technically for people who have very sparse eyebrows, so that probably wouldn't be as much the deal with everybody else, but like I can like feel it. It kind of like grooms my eyebrows at the same time. However, like I'm not sure it's gonna come off where I don't want it. Fortunately, it's really sheer. It's really, really light. You know what? Not the worst. Absolutely not the worst. Like, it's a little bit less brow than I would typically go for, you know? But definitely not in any way offensive. Like, I kind of feel like I could just sit here and go forever because I'm like, is it doing anything kind of thing? But it is definitely doing something. So just for the sake of not boring you to death, I am going to use, like I said, my own eyeliner, but I am going to use this mascara because it is unopened. So they have the Grande Fanatic, and then they have, actually this one isn't unopened. Yeah, no, we're not gonna be using the Maybelline. I'm gonna use the Grande because it's all wrapped up. Well, that's not gonna work. Oh, I have an eyelash curler. Forgot about that. That was a terrifying experience. Yeah, that feels really, really janky. Okay. Holy potatoes, that is a mascara now. pay money for this mascara, okay? It's a beautiful mascara. I'm not sure it will last through like a playlist of Publix commercials, but like for the moment, that is one of the prettier mascaras I've ever used. Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, while this felt like it might blind me if I weren't paying enough attention, this mascara is like next level. This is the Grande Fanatic Fanning and Curling Mascara infused with wide lash. It actually is. I can corroborate that. Wow. Wow. Look at my freaking eyelashes, y'all. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go in with this NYX blush because typical of my beauty routine, I'm always going to go in for more blush after the fact. She's sealed for real. I think I've owned this before. This is just the shade Peach, but it is not peach, it is quite pink. Yeah. NYX hardly does me wrong. I think that contour, which is not in here, is going to be the main thing here. So I'm gonna grab, not that one, I want the Charlotte Tilbury. The Charlotte Tilbury has become my favorite recently just because it's like, it's not so gray. So it's like when I pull it down on my forehead a little bit, it doesn't look wildly obvious. Do you see what I mean? It just kind of shortens my forehead, but in a way that, I don't know, it just doesn't look super made up. So this is the Film Star Bronze and Glow. And I'm using that on my BK A507. It's my favorite contour brush. Contour just makes a big difference with what I call pink face. Do you see how, like, I mean, obviously I put on pink blush, but it's like it kind of takes my whole complexion and just makes it look really flat. And it's like I need to bring the dimension back in. And in order to do that, it's like, yes, bring back the shadow, but also bring back other colors besides pink. And I'm gonna grab a little more of the banana powder that they gave me on a BK 108 and just use that to kind of clean up where maybe the blush got a little too low or a little too close to everything, or just a little heavy, you know? Kind of, sort of, you know? All right, I'm gonna give myself a spritz here. And I also feel like my brows, just that's not the full brow that I would typically go for, so. I might end up going in with some brow mousse. It's just, that's just not enough brow for me, you know? So anyway, let's look at these two lip products that they sent. So we have a gloss that is, it was sealed, but I feel like you could just slide that seal back on. Yeah, I don't trust that, but this one is definitely sealed. Ooh, it smells like coconut. Ugh. I hate a drugstore package. I hate a drugstore package. This color, it's fine. I'm gonna end up with some pink face, okay? I'm gonna end up with pink face. Here we go. It's giving clown. Been a long time since I used a color like that. Wow. Okay, I feel like I'm suffering enough at the hands of this lip color that I'm going to throw myself a bone and mousse my eyebrows here. I mean, it could be worse. Okay, I'm going to go try and find an outfit that I feel goes with this look. And then we will have the full reveal. I'll be right back. So, this is the vibe. Okay, so I did myself one favor, and that is that I added a little tiny dollop of clear lip gloss onto the top of this so that my face wasn't all the same texture. Okay, so as I was searching around trying to find these items so that I could total up, you know, an estimated actual value of the box itself, I did run across where a lot of these come from, and a lot of them are bought in bulk from Amazon. And so that made me feel a little bit better about the hygiene, the general hygiene of the products, because this isn't like you know, just some kind of fell off a truck thing. These are brands that produce inexpensive makeup that sell in bulk on Amazon just specifically for sellers like this to be able to then make a profit on them, you know? And that's why they're brands that I've never heard of and maybe slightly lower quality makeup, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's something that is just, like I said, sold on Canal Street, some kind of like counterfeit makeup with like wildly untraceable ingredients in it or something like that, or like the origins of which are like, what is this, you know? So I did try this. Like there was a moment where I was like, well, maybe this will save the look. It did not. Like I put it on and I was like, oh, I thought that I liked cool lavender leaning nudes, but apparently it can be too extreme for me. It was that side of dead. Yeah, this was not really it, so I put this back on because it is actually the lesser of the two evils. I am, if this is your first video of mine that you're watching, I am super particular about lip color. Not necessarily like the formulas and things like that, but I'm not a big, bold lip color kind of person because my lips are already really big. And I run my mouth a lot, so it's like, you're already looking there. I don't need to draw more attention there, but here we are because that was the nature of what was in this box. That said, the actual total that I came up with was around $50. I think that if the seller is buying in like huge amounts of bulk, they're probably able to get this stuff even cheaper. But there were items in the box that were, to the best of my ability to see, like technically more valuable, you know, like the big eyeshadow palette. Like that seems like the star of the box, you know, and it's kind of like if you were opening up, there's gonna be like a really good thing. And that to me really did perform. And so did the kind of, you know, shimmery one. I feel like the eye look is something that I would wear. I threw the blue on there. I mean, yes, that's something that I would do anyway, but I threw the blue on there so that we could make use of everything, but I would use either one of those. I would use the, you know, the NYX blush. I would use the concealer. The lip color is just not my particular shade, and I'm not a huge liquid lip color person, but it is, even though it's like a matte liquid lip, it still has kind of like a velveteen feeling that doesn't dry all the way down, which I prefer. It stays a little bit more creamy and hydrated, and it's actually pretty comfortable. I am a little bit just leery of the smells. A lot of these, not like an old smell or an expired smell, but just makeup smells, you know what I mean? I think that I'm just used to things having fragrances when they would otherwise have maybe a less than stellar smell on their own, especially when it comes to lip products. And so I smell them and I'm like, huh, because this is definitely a very inexpensive coconut fragrance that just, oh my God. It's just some kind of like Treasure Troll era candy lip gloss kind of like kid makeup smell that it's somewhere in the very, very back of my nostalgia closet, and they're going, no, don't pull that out. So I would say that the big winners here are obviously fully sealed sheet masks. Like I'm gonna use those. And I think that this palette, for the strangeness that is, like, I'm afraid that I've inherited some kind of like curse. Just it's a lot, but the inside of this palette is beautiful. And I feel like maybe it's not gonna, you know what I mean? Maybe it doesn't sell so well because what in the crap is that? But this is an extremely tame color story, and it's a very, like, you know, all things considered, very well performing palette. And I saw it, you know, just in a cursory look, I saw it valued at about $19 online. And then this is quite inexpensive online. I saw it for about like $8, but I still think that it's really pretty and it's a lot of fun, especially for someone who is, you know, wanting to like have something fun to play with, but doesn't want to invest a whole lot in like a, you know, a trendy look. And then I understand that this is probably some kind of like bulk gift with purchase kind of thing, but depending on how this wears, this Grande Fanatic fanning and curling mascara infused with wide lash, I want to buy the full size of it at some point. It is so pretty. It's so pretty. So I would say that, like, you know, the NYX blush, I'm pretty sure it's been discontinued. I did own them back in the day, and it's either been discontinued or it's been repackaged, and that's probably why they were able to get it for as little as they did. And I would say that with the exception of, like, you know, the kind of miscellany, I think in the future I would say, like, I don't need brushes, I don't need little knickknacks and things to, like, you know, stand my sponge on and stuff. Oh, and I put the earrings on. It was a task. And since they're through the same hole as my plugs, I'm like much less concerned about them like irritating my ears because they're not gonna be on that long anyway, but they are cheapy cheap. They are like, I had to basically like wedge this one open in order to get it in because the hinge doesn't work. I mean, it's like you had one job, the earring. Speaking directly to the earring, you had one job and it was to have a functioning hinge, and you couldn't rise to the occasion. So yeah, that was also part of the challenge of putting this vibe together and why I did end up looking pretty over the top. Pretty over the top. Yeah, I mean, that's the challenge, right? Is trying to make something that is a vibe. I'm always trying to figure out how to style things so that like it's still a mood. And truth be told, if we took the blue out of the equation here, like on my eyeballs, you actually end up with something extraordinarily wearable, like even with the lip. So, you know, if I were to do that, let's just see if it comes off. It probably doesn't. No, and I put a lot on it and I put it on wet, so I'm not gonna worry about it, but like all quite wearable shades. I don't feel like anything, like I said, with the exception of the kind of like grab bag, almost like trick or treat items, you know, the makeup itself, none of it is like horrifying, you know, or like just like really, really like a gimmick. You know, it doesn't feel like a bait and switch to me. It feels like a very sincere effort on the part of the seller to put together something that she thought that I would like based on the information that I gave her. And for that reason, I think that it's pretty neat. It could kind of just be a fun little thrill, and I think that it's definitely a fun thrill for me because am I gonna go and buy bulk amounts of these products to try? No. You know, I'm going to want to get them curated by someone, and I feel like you're kind of also paying for that. You're paying for like the curation fee or whatever. So it could be a really fun thing for someone who is probably not looking to spend, you know, like $60, $80 on a palette or more than that even, and wanting to have someone maybe do some of the legwork for them in terms of curating. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. I enjoyed it more than I expected to. I think we did it. I think we got a successful vibe off of this mystery box. So if y'all did enjoy this, let me know so that we can do it again if you think that this is fun. If not, let me know that too. If you're like, this is stupid, Khaki, I come here for reviews, not for, you know, mystery boxes, whatever. But, you know, just let me know in respectful ways. And I have picked out another video here that I think that you will like if you got all the way to the end of this one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I love y'all so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.